What up, what up, what up? Hey there, hi there, ho there, peeps. Happy Easter, happy resurrection. So I'm coming to you today for a few updates, to give you a few updates. Right now, you can see it's a little chilly outside. Yesterday was like 70 degrees here, and so today is like, what is it, 61. It's a little breezy, and it was raining all day. I'm really sweaty, is why I don't have on a jacket. This weekend has been hella busy artistically for me, and I feel like I'm in my 20s again, running that around that I used to do, being artsy. So to recap, or not to recap, well, yeah, to recap my weekend, Friday I had a, was it Friday? No, because the last day of work was Thursday. So Thursday, we did a showcase. I had a showcase with one of my jobs, and I'm a dance specialist there. And so I had 2 dances going on, and the kids were awesome. I'm waiting for all the permission slips so that I can upload. They did an awesome job. All the work and the headaches. I was able to come outside of myself, because I'm not a person that works with people well when it comes down to artistic things, because I like to have control of my creativity. I don't like it when I have to go home and choreograph, or when I work hard on something and someone else comes and tweaks it. So this is a good learning experience for me, because I'm working in a place where I don't have full control, creative control to an extent. I'm used to putting my shows together myself from scratch. I'm used to producing, directing. I'm used to choreographing everything in the show, directing every musical piece, choosing all of the music. And I've been doing that for quite a few years. And so this was the first time that I did a show where I didn't have that control. I'm also doing a show like this at my other job, where I don't have all the control. So it's a character building thing for me. But anyway, there were a lot of changes that had to be made to my dances at the last minute. I had to add someone, I had to change the spots, I had to throw, it was a lot of things like at the last minute. And this guy that comes in to work with us, we're doing Annie Jr. And so we have like a real choreographer, producer from Broadway that comes in. He's so cool. Emo! So anyway, he and I are pretty cool, and we talk on the side, and about creative things. And it's good that I have someone who's in the business and has been in the business for so long to kind of mentor me a little. And so one thing that he told me is that I need to learn to work with others, because if I get hired to do a play for someone else, let's just say like he's done, sometimes the dances that you choreograph or whatever it is that you're doing, the person that is paying you to do such thing may see something different, and then you will have to tweak it. So I'm so glad that he said that to me before I got to this point where I actually had to tweak, and so I wasn't like blowing off steam, and I was able to do it. And inside of myself I was wrenching, but everything came out. And the people that were in charge, they came to me later and was telling me how they appreciate me being flexible. And I'm like, little do you know that if Emo had not had that conversation with me prior to this, and I had already been working on that, probably, I don't know how it would have went. But the girls were fantastic. I can't wait to upload to my site, Danceversity TV, and they were awesome. And also, so that was on Thursday. Also at that show, they asked me to sing the Star Spangled Banner. They were like mixed reactions, and people didn't want to stand up, and I get it, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, that is a hard song to sing. I didn't sing it in the original key. I lowered it a little bit to start with, so that the high notes, I can hit the high notes in the original key, but sometimes your nerves get the better of you and you don't hit them. So I did it, and it was a cappella, and I was hella scared, but it was awesome. And I have to give myself that. And so many people they were so, like, I'm glad that I was able to make at least one person happy with it. And the people who didn't stand up in the beginning and they were all grumpy, at some point it was almost like they said, she sounds so good, I can't help but to stand up. But it was nice. So and then on Friday I uploaded some things, and I'll upload some things to my tea time site here, and it was great. And so my choir sang there, and I had a few leads. But all in all, artistically, this week has been very busy. And so now I am leaving a practice where a group of us came together to practice for an upcoming show where I'm doing hip-hop. And let me tell you something, hip-hop has been a real challenge for me, because like I said, I teach hip-hop fusion to kids, and it's fine because I never it's not as intense as I know hip-hop can be. The class that I'm taking for myself is very intense. So with everything that I have in my schedule and everything that I've been having going on, it's been difficult for me, and I missed a lot of rehearsals because I had to do the Broadway stuff, and it required some workshops on my dance days. And so today, instead of resting, after having a busy artistic week, I decided to show up for a group of us to help each other. And I was getting most of the help. No, there were other people, but to help each other to go over and to learn the steps that we didn't get. And everything looks pretty good. Now all I have to do is commit to practicing at home, and it's great. So listen, it's never too late. You're never too old. Even though hip hop is so difficult for me because I am a thinker and I'm very analytical. I need to analyze everything. I need to count everything in order to dance all the steps. They have to make sense to me in my head in order for my body to do it. And listen, no matter how difficult it is, and no matter how much you may come to the end that you want to feel and you feel like you want to give up, never give up. Because today I executed the things in my dance or the show, for the show that we're going, our upcoming show, that I didn't think that I was capable of doing, and I had gotten so frustrated that I was ready to give up. And so quite a few things that happened recently that frustrates me, and that has frustrated me, that I feel like giving up on. But you know what? One thing in particular, and I'm not going to make this video too much longer because it's like 8 minutes and counting now, but one thing in particular that I find myself struggling with is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and it's being vulnerable. So I feel like in my progress and growing in life, I've had to come to places where I am vulnerable, and vulnerability makes me feel weak. You know, I've always protected myself. I've grown to learn how to protect myself by being hard, having a hard exterior even though I may be soft on the inside. So my face and my body language, there's certain things that I won't say, that I won't do, that I'll never come out with because I'm afraid of other people's reactions and what they may think of me. And so I realized how that's been stifling me, and how it's affected some of the choices that I've made in my life that have been the wrong choices for me because they were easy. You know, I made choices and did things and settled for things that were easy because I didn't want to feel rejection. When something is too hard, you feel like, if I make myself vulnerable to this and it doesn't work, I'm going to be hurt. And it was my way of protecting myself. But sometimes, and here I'm going to be preachy a little bit, sometimes God says to just stay still. And in my trying to be vulnerable, it almost feels like recently that I'm forcing myself to be vulnerable. And I won't get into detailed information about it, but in certain situations, I almost feel like, yes, I want to be different. Yes, I want to be vulnerable. I want to allow certain changes to happen in my life. I want to open new chapters in my life. But in the same token, without worrying about looking weak, I don't want to force vulnerability, right? And so there's one particular situation where I feel like I've been doing everything to appear vulnerable to others. And it wasn't only an appearance, not only that I was appearing to be vulnerable, but I was vulnerable because in certain situations I would feel like, oh my gosh, I wonder how I looked doing that. I wonder how other people felt when I did that. I wonder what they thought about me when I did that. But in doing it, it was really raw for me, really difficult, really open, really out there. And, I guess I've gotten to a point where I realize, and God is saying to me, you've done everything that you need to do, because there is such a thing as forcing it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, but to someone, I guess besides myself, maybe someone needed to hear that sometimes when you've done all that you can and you've done everything that you know how to do and you've prayed, and you can't just sit down and wait for something to drop into your lap, but you've prayed and you've done everything that you possibly know how to do, and things still are not moving in the direction that you want them to move in, and things are still not happening, because sometimes we want things to happen now, and when things are not happening now, sometimes that feels bad. And then for me, it feels bad, and it feels like I want to just crawl into a hole because I feel stupid because I was being vulnerable, and then I want to turn around and go back to where I'm comfortable. But you know what? Sometimes God just says, stand. Now that you've done everything that you can do, everything that you know how to do, and you've prayed about it, just wait. So if something is meant for you at that point, God is going to let it happen for you. So the biggest struggle that I'm having right now is, besides being vulnerable, is waiting, because I'm a go-getter. And I want things to happen when I want them to happen. And so I make it happen when I want it to happen. And so this is a growing thing for me. And I know I'm still talking, and it's like 12 minutes now. But this is a growing thing for me. And someone else, I know that someone listening needs to hear this. And I guess it's just something that we need to pray about in waiting. But if it's something that's not meant to happen, it won't happen, and you'll be okay. Because in waiting, either you're going to wait, and in that waiting, you're going to be able to go through it in your head, and however else you need to go through with it, so that you don't want it anymore. It's not a big deal anymore. That it's okay that you don't have it anymore. Sometimes you might even see why it wasn't a good thing as you're waiting and being still. And sometimes it's even better when it happens, and it's even better when you get it if it's meant to happen, because of the anticipation of the wait. You know how they say absence makes the heart grow fonder? So anyway, be patient. Do your work. Do what you have to do. Life is too short to just sit down and be the same. Change is good when there's growth involved. Don't be afraid to grow. Stay encouraged. Thanks for listening. Peace.